Thank you. The first question is what is motivating you to run for city council?
As I said, I've been active in the community, so I've been able to attend many city council meetings. I've been able to see some things that they've done very well. Unfortunately, I've also seen some things that they've done poorly. And I believe that I can go in there and make some changes that would be for the benefit of our community. I realize that there's nobody on city council that speaks for us. And by us, I mean those of us with family, with children. When they talk about the quality of our parks, I wonder, have they ever been to our parks? Have they had a child who hasn't been able to use the bathroom if they're locked at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Have they had to turn their lights on so that the kids can play football because the lights don't work? Have they tripped while they've been refereeing a soccer game because there's a pothole in the middle of it? I don't think so. And so I'm just running so that I can give a voice to those of us who are unheard right now.
Well, I was appointed to this position just last December. There became a vacancy on the council in Ward 1. Some of the people that I've gotten to know here in Fernley came to me and said, Elaine, we think you have the experience and the leadership and the ethics and the personality to be the council person representing Ward 1. And I started attending council meetings and to see what was going on because I've always been involved in the community where I lived, and it's kind of a way of life for me. So after spending some time attending those council meetings, I thought, yeah, I think I'd like to do that. So I applied, and out of the 9 candidates who had applied, I was chosen to the position. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting to know the people in my ward and throughout the city of Fernley, listening to what it is that they want to see happen in Fernley and trying to help make decisions that lead us in the direction that the people want to see Fernley develop and grow.
Basically leads us to the second question. In terms of city staff and the leadership at City Hall, what are your specific concerns and what, if any, changes you would want to accomplish?
My specific concerns are that we do not have qualified people in the management positions today. I know that they are not qualified because of the amount of money we spend on consultants. They say we are not qualified to do this, we are not qualified to do that, and so we're going to hire a consultant. Last night, I hired a consultant for $80,000 to figure out how to raise our water bills. I'm not okay with that. I'm sorry. I think a CPA, I majored in accounting. I took a class called cost accounting. A CPA should be able to do a cost analysis to figure out how much our water rates should increase. Our CPA should have been knowledgeable enough to know this water treatment was not going to work, that we were spending way too much money that we did not have, that the development was just not going to happen. And our city manager also did not apply for grants. They said that they couldn't get the AP 198 grant because we had more than 6,000 residents. I looked up that grant. It says preference will be given to those under 6,000. That doesn't mean they will give it to people over 6,000. In fact, 2008-2009 recipients include Washoe County, pretty sure it's bigger than 6,000, Fallon, Sparks, Spanish Springs, and guess what, folks? It's still available. We need the right city manager who's going to apply for that grant. We need the right city manager who's going to make decisions to keep our water bills lower than what they're going to be.
I didn't feel at that time that there was a reason to fire this person. I think he's done an admirable job here in Fernley, and he's worked hard now to try to listen to, like I say, like I try to do, what the people want in Fernley, try to correct those mistakes, bring the city staff together, develop a staff where there's camaraderie, working together, and I'm seeing that happen. But if given a reason that we don't feel he's doing his job, the city council does have complete oversight over our city manager, and a lot of people were led by other candidates not to feel that that was the case.
Okay, you mentioned the water treatment plant. Let's continue with that because this is part of question 3. We have the ongoing nature of change orders that keep driving the cost up. Is there a dollar figure or a point where you would draw the line and say enough is enough?
That point's right now. Enough is enough. We cannot keep putting change order after change order on a consent agenda. Consent agenda means you, the public, do not get to have a say in it. You can't go up and say, I don't like the way you're doing this, I don't think this is okay, and these need to get off the consent agenda. They need to have public input on it, and they need to stop with these change orders. Something is going wrong to have this many change orders.
Well, that is a very controversial subject here in Berkeley, that water treatment plant. As we all know, it was an unfunded mandate passed down to us from the federal government to address the dangerous arsenic levels in our water. Now, I was not part of the city council that for the past 10 years ignored any water rate increases. So when faced with that project, having to build this water treatment plant, they chose to raise our water rates by 185%. Now, most of that 185% has already been met. Over the next 2 years, we will have to have a couple of more smaller increases, but I'm going to be the strongest proponent after that to make sure that there are no more water rate increases.
If elected, what would be 3 key areas you would want to address or needed improvements in your ward?
I have 6 children, and so public safety is a huge issue for me. I've been snooping on the city's budget and how we're spending money. We spent $150,000 on food last year. I talked to Chief Bale and I asked him, you go up to every city council meeting and you seem to be asking for something. Can I ask you what you're asking for? And he said, more staff. We are short-handed. And I said, how much would it cost to get a new police officer just for Fernley? $120,000 the first year, and that's because we got to buy him a vehicle. $78,000 the next year. If we could take our food budget and turn that into 2 officers, amen to that. Secondly, fire protection. My competitor, she voted without any bids to accept the ambulance system that we have right now. So we have 2 ambulances. If she would have gotten the bid from North Lyon Fire Protection, she would have found out we would have had 6 ambulances, including 2 dedicated out near the golf course. That is a huge problem. 8 more fire staff for the same price. We need to be making sound decisions and asking questions before we make a decision. Another thing I'm committed to is regarding the public safety. We have a traffic problem right out at Scalari's near Fremont. Again, my competitor said she didn't know that there was a problem. She also asked the representative for Walgreens, what do you want us to do? When all he asked was, I want you to write a letter saying you want support of the fire, or of the stoplight. And I am committed to sending out letters in support of that. I am committed to working with our fire department to get us more personnel. I'm committed to working with the sheriff's station to get us more personnel.
Well, I've already listened to the concerns of people in my ward, and in the short 10 months that I've been on the city council, I've been able to get Cape Seal streets down here at Lily Lane and Amby Way, much needed improvements to our only park in Ward 1, which is Eagle's Nest Park, the establishment of a law enforcement task force to look into the law enforcement problems that we're faced with in Ward 1, and the implementation of community neighborhood watch programs throughout the entire city. I also intend to push NDOT really, really hard on the fact that we need this signal out here at the end of Fremont Street and the highway, and that's a safety concern for the whole city of Fernley.